in September and, I mean, remember how
I
warm
know.
it
January is
was?
usually the worst month, right?
I mean, I'm honestly a
Going with
little,
that?
I'm okay with it
I'm
getting this
Danielle, by
cold.
the way.
Hi.
I'm from
I
Vandewater.
feel like I wanna make sure that the ticks are put in their place.
Yeah, I was gonna just say that.
Yeah.
The last few years, it's been a little too warm for all these critters.
I know, but down south, they're going crazy. My
Yeah.
in-laws are in Arkansas, and they said that the town trucks were just putting pieces of steel and like on
Oh, to
the
make
trucks
plows?
to plow. They have nothing.
Oh my
That's funny,
goodness.
yeah.
I know.
Northern Florida, they got like 4 inches of snow.
Yeah.
So I was down in Florida. I went from the 9th to the 14th. And as we landed, they said, the current temperature is 45. And I'm like, why did I come here? And then they said, but it's going to be 70.
Yeah, the mornings were cold.
Okay, all right. And it was about like 70 each day, which was a nice little
Yeah, oh yeah.
reprieve.
I remember, I grew up in Florida, in Gainesville.
Okay.
1989, it snowed.
Oh, really?
And I had some girlfriends over for a slumber party, and we got out there and checked it out in the middle of the night, you know. It was very exciting.
This is coming. I saw them this afternoon.
It's really late. It's not like them to run late.
So we have a new ZBA member?
Yes, Danielle. She's not coming tonight. Her daughter has the flu.
Oh. Is this the first time you guys have met this year? No.
No.
Wait, what month?
Well,
is
this
it?
year.
Well, this
Oh,
month.
this year,
yeah.
yes. Yeah,
I'm like, wait,
25, yes. Yeah. Yeah, no, this year, yes.
But you met in December.
Yes.
Wait,
So when did Anne retire? from the
Passed
board?
away.
She
She passed away.
No way.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Christmas
know
Eve.
that.
And
Just
nobody-
found
and nothing posted on nothing?
There's an obituary posted, but, yeah, no services or
Oh.
anything.
I'm sorry to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
It shocked everybody. It was like, Lori calls me and she's like, what are you talking about?
Did she call you on Christmas Eve?
Yeah, because, you know, my son, you know, he's with the fire department, and they didn't get a call or anything.
Oh.
And what happened was, I guess they called in a wellness check,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, when they went there, they found that she was passed away.
Oh.
It is dark in here. This lighting is,
Oh yeah, that's a little better.
I'm just gonna run check my emails to make sure everything.
Okay. Check my phone on the text. Hmm?
Thought I saw a car, but could be wrong.
So I quit smoking cigarettes.
Congratulations.
Good for you.
That was back in May.
All right.
So now I just do the little Zyn little things.
Oh, those are the little
Yeah,
pouches.
just to curb your feeling. But I just put on my winter jacket from last year, filled with cigarettes. I pulled my phone out of the pocket and go, why is there tobacco all there?
Oh boy. Hello. Happy New Year.
Just at 7.
Hmm?
Is it just 7 now?
Yeah, it was 5 a.m.
I'll cut you some some slack.
Yeah,
Usually I'm here 15 minutes early.
that's what we said.
Yeah. And then, of course, the train was coming by just as I was coming through. So, guess we can open the meeting. Amanda, if you could help us with our roll call.
I am Chairman Nicholas Vorleaf,
Here.
Member Fred DeVito,
Here.
and Member Tom Zarecki.
Here.
All right, will you all join me with the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Before we begin with the first item on our agenda today, I just wanted to mention that we had a board member, Ann Hardiman, who's been on the board for at least 2001, according to records way before me. Ann unfortunately passed a few days before Christmas. She apparently had wishes for no memorial of any kind, but I know that she was not only on this board for a very long time, 20 plus years, but I know she was also involved in the Pauling Concert Series. Clearly, this community was very important to her, and I just want to personally thank her for all the time that she gave to the village of Pauling and this community with her service. The first item on our agenda is 21 West Main Street. We have Kurt Johnson here tonight to talk to us about this project.
Yes, good evening all. Here on behalf of Phil Max, the owner of 21 West Main Street. The project was before the planning board a couple of years ago, and they converted the building into commercial space on the first floor and then 3 apartments, 2 minor units for that on the building. And we're currently before the board, we're working through with the planning board on site plan approval to add an addition to the west side of the building for 3 additional apartments. There would be 1 per floor. The apartment on the first floor would require a special permit from the planning board. So there's certain conditions of that with the zoning, and it was deemed that this does not need to comply with urban regulations for the village, but we do need to revert then to the bulk regulations for site plan and setbacks and things like that. So we are proposing to place the addition on the western side of the property, 5 feet from the westerly property line and 5 feet from the southerly property line, which is shared with the Methodist Church here. So per the bulk regulations, you need to have 25 feet of setback when you abut a residential property. So the B1 zone district runs basically along this property line. The adjoining house to the west is in the B1 district, and all the land around on the north and east is in the B1 district, but the line does run here on the south. Church is on the residential property, but it's really not residential use. So the 25-foot setback actually would put you right through the middle of the building, basically, as it exists now. So we're requesting a variance to allow that building to be 5 feet from the southerly property line. That area is also, this is existing impervious area right now, asphalt and gravel, so that will be replaced with that building here. There is some green space over on this part of the property which would be preserved.
With the famous fountain.
With the
was
famous
for years.
was, yes.
Okay. Kurt, what's the current lot coverage on this? I think it was 90-something%.
Lot coverage
Ideally, it would
on
have
the
been-
building is 95%, but which is more than is permitted, but it's
It's
what's
existing.
Yes.
Yeah,
So it's impervious to impervious, so no change in that.
right, right. And I was at the site the other day with you, and couple questions I asked, but I'll just repeat. I know that the roof line can essentially be the same. There's a slight change in the
Yeah.
line visually, but essentially the roof height is the same as the existing roof height.
Essentially, this reads pretty much as a two-story building with a roof here with dormers in here. We'll be dropping the roof just slightly to break this line and break the facial line here and putting an additional dormer to match the existing here. So it'll keep the same look generally as the building, but kind of gives it a little variation right there.
And the front door there is going to be for another commercial space?
This actually, it's not another commercial space, it's access to. So you come in this door, you can get into this existing commercial space, or you can go up the stairs to the apartments.
I see.
And there's also access to the basement along here where there will be the cabinets.
Got it.
So the residential use is from here back.
On the side of the building, we have a continuation of the eave that wraps around, is that a covered walkway there?
That's correct, yes. So this does come around and return around the building here, and the door for this unit is actually on the side over here. And this will be handicap accessible, that first floor unit.
And what's a 3-foot overhang?
I think it's like 2.5 feet or so, it might be 3 feet.
Okay, and how, Nicholas, does that have any bearing on the setback?
It doesn't go into the rear setback.
Oh, in the rear
The side, we
setback?
can go actually up to the
For
property
this
line.
particular zone, they can actually come within 0 feet, I think,
Correct.
of the western line.
Mhm.
It's the rear setback, that's an
Yeah.
issue. They're asking for 20-foot variance on that, because it should be 25, but
Correct.
they want to, this design calls for a 5-foot only.
So does the village even have a setback for a eve, or is it to the actual building? That's the other question too, if that came in effect. which
I would
doesn't.
think it would include, I think there's certain things in the code of what counts and what doesn't count.
Right,
It
so
depends if
the
there are
eve-
regulations or not also.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But clearly that is not going to the
Correct.
property line, that eve, and you could legally go within 0 feet. So that
That's
eve could come out to within.
Those two windows, I know, on the top there, is that separating rooms, or is that all one room in the new part of the
On the
addition?
side view?
On the top, on the front view,
Here?
the bottom, the first, second floor.
Here.
Yeah,
Okay, that is, let's see. There's one unit per floor, so that actually is,
And they're either one bedroom or studios?
they're one bedroom.
They're all one bedroom, okay.
There's one in the stairwell.
okay, so
And
that's
one
why
in
you
the
did
bedroom.
that. Just trying to see why you didn't match the other windows.
Right.
Matched all the way across, is
Right,
what I'm asking.
we can't really get it to
Right.
work in there.
Okay.
But I think it does leave a little variation in the front that just sets it off a little bit.
No, it's not under our purview, but was the parking, with the handicap access on that corner there, it looks like it's tucked in. Do you think that that's gonna be a tough to traverse on that sharp turn right there? I mean, I feel like the road actually goes more in towards the parking than it actually.
This is the edge of the park, of the
That was-
road there.
That's accurately like
Yes.
updated survey?
Yes, that was
Okay.
that's a Zarecki survey.
So that, yeah, it just seems maybe this wants to be flip-flopped on the other side of the building as maybe.
We originally had it there, but I think in talking with the planning board, it worked better here because we can get up onto this
Yeah.
Is that what the ramp
sidewalk,
there?
yeah.
Yeah, it had to
That
do
looks
with the
miserable if you're, even
slope,
if these
right?
were
Yeah, the
so
slope
tall.
also, because this is pretty much flat here and it starts to
Yeah,
drop
the
off.
grade starts to drop.
So,
This western
yeah, it kind
sure.
of tilts a little bit, so this is pretty flat over in here.
Yeah. This is just, we have this set up in front of Daniel's building, the whole set, pull up to the front of the building,
Right.
back out into traffic, but that's a secondary road rather than
Right,
a main
right,
road.
right.
But, how many parking spots are there now?
There's 8, I think we're going for, we have 9 now.
Okay,
Yes.
so he has 8, and he wants
Yeah.
one more.
We're adding one more, yes, which is what's required.
And how many apartments are there in the current building?
3. 2 on the second floor, 1 on the third
So
floor.
it would be 6.
Yep, so,
Total. And everybody's using the space, and that leaves 3 spaces available for
Yeah.
the rest.
basically, we've kind of watched how the businesses work.
Yeah.
During the day, there's very little parking need there, because there's an acupuncturist there who has very limited hours in there, and there's the DJ place, just an office for him
Right,
there.
right.
So really, theoretically, it's kind of shared parking, because people would be typically driving to work possibly during the day when people are using the business. So we've never seen more than like 3 cars there.
Does
And it's
Fresh
kind of-
Bills have an office there too, or it's only
No.
the DJ and the acupuncturist?
They were gonna take that, but they found a renter, so Fresh Bills does not have a space there.
Okay. And is the applicant, is this the same person who owns Fresh Cuts across the street?
Yeah, it's Sean Hildebrand, and it's.
Okay, and he owns that whole building, right?
Maxwell, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing, I mean, look, as it stands now, I don't see any issue as it's the neighbor on the, in the B1 part of the, the zone is the church, and it's a big parking lot there.
Yes.
But 25 years from now, that church may be reutilized and developed, but, I mean, I don't know how that plays into our decisions tonight, but that lot could be a very substantial piece of real estate for a new building to be installed, so I don't want that to affect future potential progress for the properties.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, because they're required to meet the residential setbacks for that lot. They can't build up to the property line, per se.
Right.
Right, but I think to Tom's point, is that you're asking for a variance because you're abutting a residential zone, and it's possible that that would be a residential zone in the future. It's actually, especially since statistically, many churches in this country are closing because of lack of attendance. So it is a possibility that you might want to consider that residential zone will become a residential zone at some point.
I mean, I think it's single-family uses, I would think, would be allowed in that residential zone, so you'd be able to put a house on that large lot, I would say.
Right.
Unless you're subdivided, I don't even know if that's possible.
Now, keep in mind, this is already an attached shed that's right up to the line
You don't
already.
It actually goes over the wall.
Yeah, so,
It's like halfway
I mean,
into the wall.
it's-
That-
They're
It's 1
actually,
foot 7 off the property line.
right, they're 5 feet different than what he's asking for.
That attached shed, is it, like, is that where the offices are in the back that go in there, or is it a
It's-
partition, is there a wall?
The building is there, then it's kind of a like lean-to enclosed shed on three
Yeah,
sides, on 2
So I think
sides.
that's part of why that they listed it that way, to get away with that extra variance, is that we'll call
Right,
it an auxiliary structure to the
Mhm.
back that could be removed if needed, but it
Right.
wouldn't be detrimental to the structure itself.
No, but that's also where the HVAC equipment is under cover there. It also comes right down, basically, the roof comes down pretty close to the top of the wall. So it's very innocuous to the neighbor property.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that strikes me about this is that it looks to me like the building will fill a tremendous amount of this lot. And it kind of feels to me like that particular lot is a bit of a transition space to the lot next door, which although zoned B1, is actually a residence and is like a post-Victorian 1890 home. It's been there obviously for a very long time. And having something so tall and large and so close to the line, so close to what is currently a residence, doesn't really give a break to the eye. It's just suddenly there's this massive structure on the lot, and then we move into residences. I personally would like to see, I like to see more transitionary spaces, and I was walking around the village the other day just looking at how close things were and how full the lots were, and even on Memorial Ave, a lot of the buildings fill a fair amount of lot, but there's a sense of space and air around them, and this would not really have that.
To that note, it is nice that the Pisano property, the house there is set up on a hill, which gives it some base. It's not like, got one tower and building. This one's actually raised up and up on a hill that, they have a front yard there. So there is that breathing room. On plan, it looks very crowded. And I would like to preserve as much green space and impervious, if we could, getting that down. But it's already existed, asphalt in the back there and whatnot. Now, the lot coverage, now that existing 95%, that's 95 on the application that was put in for when that building was updated, or is that, since, how many iterations has it gone through?
It hasn't really changed since, I think Liflin had it,
Okay.
and I don't know how previous it was. There were no changes to impervious surface when it went through the last iteration.
So I remember it was all, at one point it was all gravel,
Yeah,
and then Rob put down asphalt.
okay.
And I don't know if that number, you know, was 85 or 70, you know, down before, but that water's gotta go somewhere and it's gonna go down the road.
Yeah, and actually, with the planning board, we worked.
Yeah.
There's going to be this unit in here that collects rainwater for kind of first flush in here to kind of collect some of the rainwater here and release it slowly into the ground, so that's being put in. It is not there now.
And that's gonna cover up more square footage.
No, it's underneath.
It's gonna be underground, so is that gonna be a dry well, Kurt?
Kind of, essentially, yes.
And so all the roof leaders are gonna go over to that pit,
Yeah, we're gonna collect,
all of it.
get that over there. Right now, basically, it just sheet flows off the north side of the property.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Like
that'll,
if we got some rain and then it froze, it would be, this would be a
Yeah, that'll-
disastrous condition.
that'll control some of this, because this is all asphalt now over here,
Mm-hmm.
where this is proposed.
Is it a Coltex system? or-
Yes, it is, yep. Actually,
What was your question, Fred?
Is it a Coltex system, which it's basically half moon,
yeah, it's basically
and it's filled with gravel, and that
a little
actually,
hoop structure, you dump the water in there, it goes into the ground, and whatever does it.
That's the brand, right?
brand
Yes.
is a Coltex, right, but it's,
It's kind of like the universal.
right, it's a universal name for it.
Are they also referred to as infiltration chambers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
chambers, yeah.
And they can be used for either detention or infiltration.
Or, correct.
Right. I didn't know you had a background in stormwater, Fred.
A little bit.
Cool.
He collects it, it's a hobby.
Kurt, has there been any update to what the parking is on, near this wall? Is there any other parking that?
I think there is
It keeps
park-
going back and forth. We had a park jammed up there, then they put a sign up, and then the one car would park there.
Yeah, I don't know, I assume that was county did that.
Are you
because-
talking about the street parking?
Yeah,
This
because
is just dirt, and like, it was, one, covered up the sign of the building, but then again, there
Yeah.
is room there, but people start cutting.
I don't know what
Yeah.
because the county did all that work at that intersection, so I'm not sure the off-site parking, how that works.
But it's meeting all the it's meeting the bulk schedule in terms of what you need to provide.
I don't have any additional questions, Kurt. Again, my biggest concern is it just seems like a pull-out of building in that lot. And part of our directive as zoning board should be to try to make things more conforming rather than less conforming. It's actually written into some of our codes. So that gives me a little bit of discomfort with this, but that's just my opinion on this.
I think honestly, with all these lots in the B1 zone, I think it's set up that per the urban regulations and the comprehensive plan is pretty much fill the lots per se.
Well, except
to
that
bring it to
you're
property
asking for a
lines.
20-foot
Yeah,
variance.
only because it's adjoining a residential lot. If this was within the B1 zone itself somewhere,
I won't be here.
we wouldn't be here.
Right. But that just gives it, again, a sense of space and air, and where the building is sitting on the lot with a little bit of room around it rather than just filling the
Yeah,
lot.
it would only really be the back of the lot. It
Okay.
wouldn't be the front of the building.
Well, I mean, but that regulation would basically prevent anything in the front too, and give it more of a sense of air, so. Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions on the board? Any comments from Karen, or?
I mean, I I wrote my review letter. I evaluated the variance criteria, in my opinion. You know, it is in the B1 district. There are no side lot lines, there are no side lot yard setbacks required. The building coverage is, you know, gives a lot of allowance. The site was previously mostly impervious already. I guess, you know, one of the things I would balance one of the things I would weigh in trying to come to a balance here is that, you know, this is a village and villages need people to support local business. You know, apartments are not easy to find. I think it's fantastic that there are more apartments going in. I think given that the site is in the B1 district and that the adjoining uses are, you know, institutional rather than residential, that this is a good candidate for a variance. Those are my thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Any thoughts from our legal counsel too?
I've reviewed the letter that was referred to. It's, of course, up to the board to balance the factors for granting or denying an area variance. I would think that if you want to move forward after the introduction tonight with setting a date for a public hearing, that would be in your purview.
Okay. All right, I guess we have no other questions then. Kurt, thank you very much. Matt, I think we need to schedule the public hearing. When is our February meeting scheduled for?
It's the 22nd, but let me double check. Or 26th, February 26th.
Okay.
I'll have the addresses for you tomorrow.
Great,
So
okay.
you can pick them up at your leisure.
Thank you.
All right.
And then the planning board meeting is before that, correct?
Yes.
So they could do their secret determination.
Yes.
Okay, could I have a motion to schedule our public hearing for our next meeting on February 26th?
I'll make a motion.
Can I have a second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay, so we're going to move the public hearing to February 26th, send out all notices. Excellent, all right. Thank you very much, Kurt, for your presentation. It's very thorough. Always good to see you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I think what we have to do next is approve our minutes for December 4th. Have all the board members had a chance to review the minutes?
Yes.
All right. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the December 4th, 2024 meeting. Can I have a second? All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, the minutes have been approved. Amanda, I don't think we have any other business tonight, do we?
I don't believe so.
Okay, excellent. All right, can I have a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, everybody. Arthur, always good to see you.
Happy New Year again.
I hope we're keeping you entertained.